heard it.
Okay, let me just go live first. So we're gonna go live. So everybody just, remember to keep private the information if you're gonna talk about your own child. Let me just make sure I have to follow with my phone now. And then we start. Okay, we live now. Let me go back here. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us again on another backpack series. My name is Vanessa Pollack, and I am a parent consultant with the Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center. For those who doesn't know who we are the Parent Training Information Center for the state of Connecticut, and by law, every state must have a PTI, and we are the ones from Connecticut. And our mission is to empower families and children with disability and developmental delays, ages 0 to 26, and the professionals who are serving them. We provide telephone consultation, trainings, and programs, and our goal is for parents to become their child's best advocate, give them the tools that they need to support their children. In today's training, it's all about how to develop rules and expectations at home. So today we have again our great presenter, Beth Ann. If you want to introduce yourself, Beth Ann. And just remember that we're recording and we are live on Facebook. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat and I'll be monitor both. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Happy January, Happy New Year. My name is Beth Ann Virgin, and I am located at the UConn Center of Excellence in Developmental Disabilities at UConn Health in Farmington. And I am here again. We partner with CPAC to provide the backpack series, the second Wednesday of every month. And each month we discuss different topics around children's social emotional development. And today we're going to talk about rules and expectations and how you can develop them for home. So welcome, everyone. So this backpack series was originated by our Connecticut Pyramid Partnership Leadership Team. We're so lucky in our state that we have this Pyramid Partnership Team, and what our goal is to be able to develop a model in the state for positive behavioral intervention. And we want to be able to provide support to families, early childhood providers on the importance of social emotional development and how we can reduce challenging behaviors in young children. So the pyramid model goes through the importance of being able to build positive relationships, develop a supportive and nurturing environments, and then for children who have those persistent challenging behaviors, provide some individual support to address those. So it is a tiered system, and through this tiered system, there's a wealth of resources out there for families and, again, early childhood providers. So in this backpack series, it was originated because the pyramid model National Center has a backpack series on every single topic you can think about with young children, and you can download these backpack series. There could be like a newsletter for your program, or also for families to use at home, and it gives tips around certain areas like if your child is biting, if you're trying to set a bedtime routine. So all different topics that you can use at home. So the topic that we chose today is rules and expectation.
Excuse me, Beth Ann.
Yeah.
Just one question. We have another parent here. Maria Amado, you need interpretation in Spanish? Because we have interpreter. I don't know if you can hear the interpreter in Spanish yet.
I remember her from last month. I think
I remember her, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And Beth Ann, if you could just speak a little bit slower.
Estoy escuchando la interpretación en español. Gracias.
Okay.
Yo soy provider de cuidado infantil en el hogar.
Okay. If you could just speak a little slower so the interpreter can translate it. So if you go too fast, you might miss some information. Just have to remind it, because how when we translate in live can be a little confusing. But thank you, everybody.
So welcome, Maria. Today we're going to talk about rules and expectations. So how can you build rules at home in your own family? So family rules really do help with creating structure in your home. When developing those rules, they need to be specific, a clear statement about behaviors that you expect from your child. And some of you may be providers that work with families. So today I'm going to give you some tips on help families develop rules at home in childcare centers and your family childcare center as well. You most likely have rules that you children must follow in your program. So today I'm going to give you some tips on how families can do their own rules at home. Rules work best when they're consistent. They're have predictability because children are thrive on knowing what is expected of them, and it helps them maintain really good behaviors when they know what is consistent. They know what's going to happen next. They know that they have to have a follow through. So rules can also help children understand what behaviors are okay and what are not okay. So jumping on the couch is probably not okay. And so we want to make sure that these rules are put into place so that they can follow them in the different aspect of your home. It is normal for children to break rules and test limits. So like I just said, jumping on the couch. So, no jumping on the couch, but kids will, the minute you're out of the room, they're jumping on the couch. So they like to test and see what they can get away with when you're putting rules into place. I think as adults too, what's the speed limit? 65. Do we drive 69 on the highway? So we all have rules, but we all may try to squeeze by a little bit. So we're, as adults, no different than kids. But remember, young kids sometimes break rules because they simply forget. And not all broken rules are that kids are testing us, but sometimes it's just our response to, no matter what the reason is for breaking the rule, is consistent. So when we're talking about designing rules for at home, make sure that the child is understanding what is expected of them for each of the rules. So here's some ideas on how to set the rules. Sit down as a family, or look around and identify areas that, like coming in the house, taking your shoes off, putting away your toothbrush at night. So set rules that are appropriate for the child's age too. So at 2, they may understand to take their shoes off when they come in the house, but it may not really be an understanding yet. But at 3, every child should know that no shoes are allowed in the house, no jumping up and down on the couch. And then, putting your books away when you're done reading them, putting your toys away when they're done. So 3 and 4-year-olds learning that concept of the rules of, say, putting their toys away. Have your child pick a rule too. So they're a part of the conversation on what the rules should be in the house, and then post the rules in the house so everybody knows where they are and can see them. I actually have mine on the refrigerator in the kitchen because everybody goes to the refrigerator. The number of rules that you set depends on your child's ability to understand and remember them. So it's hard for parents to consistently enforce a lot of new rules. So I would stick, the 2 to 4, 3 rules. Let's just keep it small and easy for them to remember. And so focusing on those, focusing on those 2 or 3, they're the most important rules at one time. And as your child learns the importance of a rule and it can follow it consistently, you can add another rule. So how can you identify your family rules? So if, for example, if you put your shoes away every day this week, there'll be a reward at the end of the week. If always putting something that is avoid those vague rules, such as be good, because being good, if you're be good all week, that's not a rule, that's an expectation. So you want to be clear. So you could have at home one side of the sheet rules, so taking your shoes off, putting away your toys, putting your cup in the sink, or no hitting your siblings, which we know may not always happen, always being kind. But an expectation is, we expect, as your parents, we expect you to listen when we're talking. So two different things: rules are things that you want to follow by, and the expectation is what you expect in your house, for the child to be kind and not to punch their sister or brother. So that's what we talk about when we're talking about those specific expectations. And a more specific rule could be talk to others how you would like them to talk to you. So if you're talking about a 4-year-old and older, I have a 9-year-old who sometimes thinks I'm his maid. And so his way that he'll ask me for things sometimes, I just ignore him because I'm pretty sure that's not how he would want me to ask him to do things. So I use that rule as or expectation about talk to me how you would want me to talk to you. So unacceptable behavior should be also stated as clear and concrete rules, such as no hurting others. So no hitting, no biting, no kicking, no throwing objects at each other. So if you're in a home where you have multiple kids, definitely adding that as a rule. It's important to state the acceptable and desired behavior immediately after you talk about that rule. So no hurting others. So again, that means no punching, no biting, no throwing objects. So really explain what each of the rule means and giving an example and what you expect. If you've told, if you're talking about no hurting others, you can also say you need to keep your hands and your feet to yourself at all times. We know at the dinner table, sometimes we're kicking each other under the table because we're all fighting for conversations, to be able to talk about our day or something that we know. And we know children have this knack of when the minute adult starts talking to their significant other or family, the child has something very important they want to say. So another one of rules is when adults are talking, wait till they're finished. So here's just an example of some, just like I was saying, no interrupting, wait your turn to speak. We know young children are so excited to share what they have going on, so they can't control and like the thought of them having to wait until someone else is done talking. And I really think that's a skill that at least till they're 10 that they don't outgrow. So really starting that expectation when they're younger. No yelling in the house, using an inside voice when talking in the house. I'm pretty sure I used this example quite. No climbing or jumping on furniture. The furniture is to be sat on and not jumped on. And if you want to go lie down on your bed.
Excuse me, Bethan, we have a question.
Oh, good.
In Spanish on the chat, but I think I can translate it. Maria, if the interpreter, please let me know. She wondered if the rules you should use, inside of your routine. That's what I think she's asking. Yes,
definitely. So I really strive to say that routines are so important. So if your expectation or rule is in the mornings that you're getting ready for the day, and it's their expectation to brush their teeth and put their shoes on. So that's part of your morning routine, and it should be like that every single day. Weekends may be a little bit different, but if that's your expectation of the child, then yes, put that on your list. While mommy's making lunches, you should be brushing your teeth and getting your shoes on. So we're getting out the door. When you keep those routines and expectations together, kids go there, they know what to expect. mommy's making lunch up, that means I have to brush my teeth and get my shoes on. When mommy's warming up the car or putting the stuff in the car, that means I have to put my my jacket on and be ready to go. When every day is consistent and they know what's going to happen next, it is so much easier for children to understand those expectations. If we drop a bomb on them and, if they're in the middle of eating breakfast and say, oh, no, we got to put our shoes on now and go, let's go. One, they're going to be like, well, I'm still eating my breakfast, wait, and so having a bit of a meltdown and they're not ready. And then, all of a sudden they have to move. So keeping it consistent is so important. Consistent rules. So the same rules, don't change it up and add something in. Consistent expectations, don't change it or add it up. Start small, three at a time. And as the children are being able to follow each of those rules and expectations and following the routines, definitely to give them a reward. Just say, you know what, you did such a great job this week with using an inside voice in the house and not yelling when mommy was on the phone, or say, oh, you get an extra 15 minutes of electronics or TV time today. Reward them for that good behavior, because then it gives them more willpower to continue following those rules and understand the importance. And then also, when you're setting good rules at home, they're following better rules out in the community. We all know schools have rules. If they're going to the library, it has rules. So again, we have to keep inside voices very quiet when we're at the library. When you're mentoring them and you're showing them an example of what it's like to follow those rules and expectations at home, they are more likely to follow the other ones in life. As I said, school, library, community, play groups, anything like that. Any other questions? Keeping it simple. My favorite is the inside voice, and not jumping up and down on furniture. And as my child and a lot of other families I know get older, we give them responsibilities. So, at 6, you can start, giving them one chore. Help us put the dishes in the dishwasher. Start with one, and it's giving them responsibility to be a part of the team of your family. I encourage to start them as young as possible. At school, we have jobs. So there's no reason why at home you can't give them one job. Do they throw themselves on the floor when you tell them it's time to do that job? Yes, but still you're giving them responsibility.
And I think I'm sure that might be a question for other people, how parents can track how they're following the rules. So I see a lot of parents doing like a chart, and next to the rules, normally in the refrigerator, with like little stars or stickers or little check things. Mm-hmm. So as they go, you can get your reward or whatever the family is going to use on the weekend, but you have to be, all clear the rest of the whole, every single day. So how they can judge, or keep track. I don't know if you have any other example besides like a chart to give it out.
Yeah. And other too is reinforcing them too. So if Vanessa and I are playing and I shove her, that would be under no hurting and keeping your hands and feet to yourself. So I would say, oh wait, the rule is, or I would have to be reminded that there is I have to keep my hands and my feet to myself. So, oh yeah. And obviously I knew the rule, but I just wanted to push Vanessa for, a reaction factor. So, but again, like if you see the child exhibiting the behavior that we've made the rule about, stop them face to face, and say, well, I just saw you hit your brother. What's our rule in the house? And they'll be like, keep your hands and your feet together. To yourself. And so they know the rule, but sometimes just reminding them and having them, every once in a while, like, what's our rule about yelling in the house? Use our inside voices when we're talking in the house. So just reminding them.
Thank you, Beth. I just spoke to a family the other day and they were talking, they're like, I don't know when to, like, how many chances do I give?
Oh yeah.
Versus, like, I think it's a good example you gave, like, talk to them, especially if it's a new rule. It's okay, let's look at again our rules and give them a reminders. But if it becomes like the child doing all the time, you might want to take a little point off. That way they kind of, oh, I'm not gonna get a TV today or whatever. Because it can be a daily thing too, because sometimes it depends on the age of the kids. They can forget about it. If it's like I have to wait all week. So I still use with my kids when they're older, like a daily thing. Like, okay, so if you know the rule and if you didn't follow and I remind you, so I guess today we're not gonna watch TV or play. And I think Maria put a question with the kids that she work. They imitated the ones that are around them.
Oh, good.
So I guess, she might have the rules and the little ones, like they imitated the others. I think that's what she meant. I give a couple of seconds to the interpreter translate it because I can read, but I don't know if I'm translating 100%. But
Oh, sorry.
it's okay, Maria.
No, it's okay, Maria.
Don't be sorry.
Happy that you're here. I remember you came.
I want to make sure I capture your question or a comment. It wasn't a question, it was a comment. You have any idea that you use on? Oh, Belen. Hold on, I'm gonna have to bring you back, I think, Belen. Thank you. Did you hear that, Beth?
I didn't. It's
okay. So she's saying like where Maria, where she worked with a center with a bunch of kids. So she showed them, and they modeled her, not the other kids. So she showed them what she expected, and then they copy her.
Yes, good. And
so she's the model, kind of.
So just to tell Maria too, reviewing those rules and expectations daily is probably going to have to happen. Kids forget. So as we're, starting the day, what's putting the question out there, what are the expectations today? So one, be kind, be able to get myself dressed and brush my teeth. So that's my expectations of the day. So having them, reviewing them sometimes on a daily basis until they can come to you, like Maria was saying, like they'll come to her and tell her what they are. But sometimes you have to keep reminding them of what they are until they do what they do to Maria.
And I think like in a group setting, like Maria, she's not only with her own child, she's in a daycare, I think. Every day, I think, depends on the age. It's a good thing I'm sure she has like a list of rules. And then, sometimes things comes up like, okay, today we're going to do a special activity with water, for example. So we're not going to throw water on our friends, and we're not going to throw water all over the floor. So sometimes you have I think when I was teaching, that's what I did. Like you have your class expectation, not only at home, but in school in case of Maria, but you also have sometimes new activity comes up, you might have to add a little new rule or new expectation because, and I always remind, I'm sure she does too every day, into they kind of get into the routine of, okay, that's because after, like you said, they kind of know what to expect. Like, okay, mom is going
Yep.
start the car. I had to put my shoes on. In
Right.
time, they get it. But reinforcement, I think all ages, they need it.
Yeah, reinforcement is so, and it's gonna happen. As adults, we have to be reminded too. So it's not just necessarily a young child thing, but I like your example of, the water, say you have a water table or a sand table. So if children choose to go play at the sand table, you're gonna say to them, what are our rules of the sand table? No throwing sand, keep our hands to ourselves. So what are our expectations of if you're going to go outside to the playground, no kicking or pushing, everybody take turns on the slide. So any activity, just remind them, just as adults, sometimes we have to be reminded. Remember when you get on the highway, you're only supposed to drive 65, no honking at people driving by you. So we're all, for life eternity, we're all going to need reinforcement. But once children are given that reinforcement on a consistent basis, they'll know, they'll run to the sand table and say, Vanessa, you're not supposed to be kicking me under the table, or we're not supposed to throw sand. They become the rule knights in charge of all rules. And it's always that way as they get older. But as they get older, it's more of the tattletaling that so-and-so wasn't following the rules. Teacher.
Or even
Also
like,
wasn't listening on the playground. Yeah.
I'm sure a house with multiple kids, they are like, oh, but so and so did that. They kind of tell on each other, which is normal on brothers and sisters and stuff like that.
Yeah, siblings, they're at each other's last nerve. And they like to poke each other when no one's around. I know my brother did it to me, and then I'd run and tell, and he'd be like, I never did that. Yeah. So,
but I think having like Maria asked in the beginning, like the rules has to be part of the routine, especially at home.
Yeah.
Because they're part of your day. It's part of an expectation for the day. So having that reminder or being followed every day, it's part of, put your pajamas, take a shower. It's all part of this. They have to work together, right?
Yeah. And I remember, like, when my son was young, I was really like striving. Well, also, first time mom, you're like, I'm going to be the most perfect mother ever. And we're going to do this, this, and this. But we all fall out of routines. But I really saw how well, like, nap was at 2 and this is at 4. And then like at 6 o'clock, we did bath, and, 7 o'clock, we read a book. And then at 7:30 went to bed. Like, as he got older, he knew that whole routine. Like, I'd be like, shower time, go up, take a shower, then you get a book out. So it really follows them through as they get older. Is there more pushback when you get older? Yes, but it really sets the tone in all aspects of their life when they know that this is our expectations of them. So, and we all know as adults, there's lots of expectations on us and lots of rules. So, and this is where, we always say early childhood is big brain development. So we're establishing all of these great social emotional strategies early, and it sets them up for success. Does anyone else have any questions? Yeah, so next month we're going to talk about schedules. It's my favorite topic. Might even have an activity.
Any question, Maria or Rochelle?
No, gracias.
No, I'm good.
Quiere decir que estoy yendo por buen camino en mi trabajo.
You know what? I will say it's easier than it sounds sometimes, but I will say, like, in the beginning, it might be hard, but as you get more consistent, it gets easier. Sometimes have I given in? Yes. I have given in multiple times, but it gets easier and easier. Again, like behavior is a form of communication. They're trying to tell us something, young kids. So just keep listening and keep coming every month. So next month we'll talk about schedules. And I have a great activity to really look at what your schedules look like.
It's going to be on February 8th.
Mhm.
So for those who are here or watching, February 8th we'll be back with a
Yep.
new series, new topic, the same series, new topic.
Yeah, a little Valentine schedule.
Oh, wow. We just had Christmas.
First of all, like, I can't believe it's January 11th.
Wow.
Look at the calendar. I'm like, what?
Anybody has
Makes
any
me
other
like-
question about the routines and rules, things that working for you or didn't work?
No, he aprendido realmente un poco sobre cómo está cómo está asociado, o sea, digamos, hay una secuencia de las expectativas con las reglas, la rutina, o sea, la rutina, bueno, todo el mundo practicamos las rutinas y es como somos, como dijo usted, es ser bien consistente. Con mi experiencia que yo tengo, puedo decir que con los niños pequeños es más manejable trabajar porque ellos empiezan a imitar de los grandes o de los otros niños más grandes que están en el entorno. Eso lo pude corroborar más en el tiempo de pandemia. Los niños pequeños tenían esa capacidad tan rápida de aprender a través de la imitación.
Yes. Can you hear her, Bethan?
Mhm.
Okay. I think everybody heard you. Very nice, Marie. I think you're doing a great job.
And thank you for joining us again this month.
Gracias. Thank you.
And thank you, Rochelle. I hope you got something today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll see you guys next month.
Thank you guys again for jumping. Let me stop the live and let's stop the recording too.